In part 2, I want to give sort of an in-depth on my thoughts on Dragon Quest XI S, or the Switch edition, definitive edition, whatever you call it. So, during the Nintendo Direct, they also announced that Dragon Quest XI will also be coming on the Switch this fall of 2019 with Switch exclusive content. And also, this was also mentioned in Japan, I think, during the Jump Festa 2018 or 2019, something like that. So, the biggest one here is, of course, dual language. Because remember, the PS4 version of Dragon Quest XI in Japan was no voice. In an American version, they added English voice. So now they add Japanese voice and still have also the English voice. Another addition they put in this game is the classic mode, which is it makes Dragon Quest XI turn into an 8-bit version or 16-bit. Basically, the 3DS. Because if you remember, in Japan, there was also Dragon Quest XI for the 3DS. However, according to Square-Enix, they didn't want to bring it outside of Japan, and I'm gonna guess because it's on the 3DS. Kind of like I mentioned with Persona Q2, the Labyrinth. Basically, not putting all works on it, which basically include not having an English dub. And because it's a 3DS, it's probably going out the window eventually. I know not yet, it's not like the Vita, but it's gonna get there. Also, from what I heard, more quests, more items, basically more content than the PS4 version. Now, the question now is in, they did ask this to Square Enix, is should the Switch exclusive content also be ported to the PS4 as, well, free update or extra update? And the funny about this one is, as expected, for Nintendo fans or gamers who only have a Switch-only console, of course they're gonna say no. And why is that? Well, I hate to say it, my guess here is fanboyism. Because, oh, well, we can say, oh, we have a better version because we have more content in this Dragon Quest XI version than the PS4 version. You know, so it makes up for coming in late, and vice versa. Said, wow, you guys are so snobby because, oh, you get the better version and you don't want to share it to the other gaming community, like for other console, like PS4 supporter, owner only. You know the drill. They kind of did this with Resident Evil 4 for the GameCube. That was announced like a year later that's going to be multi-platform. A lot of the GameCube only owner were upset because they had nothing to brag about. I'm sorry, but you know that's what it is. So, for me personally, I would say they should, to make everyone happy. But if it costs them money to do an update, to put it on the PS4 version of Dragon Quest XI, then I would have to say, so be it. Add some, like maybe $10, $20 for this definitive version update. I would just say, but at least it would be nice to some extent. You know, play fair, even so that Sony's with the censorship policy bullcrap. But of course, Dragon Quest XI doesn't really have anything fan servicey, unless you have that puff thing, or you know, those girl in rabbit costume. But that's a different story there. But in my opinion, yeah, they kind of should. You know, so playing field and make most everyone happy. Because I'm always in the side of treat every hardware company equally to some extent. Because so you don't really make a particular people upset because, oh, how come this console has this feature versus that, vice versa. To some extent, I know in the perspective of business, it kind of just makes sense, especially if that hardware company, whether it's Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Steam, or the Epic Store, they're willing to pay you more money for exclusive deals. So, there you go. Well, I mean, like I said, in the case with Dragon Quest XI, definitive version, or S, maybe the way I see it is that first release the game, and then maybe a month or so, yeah, being nice, month or so, provide that Switch update on the PS4 version, even in the Steam version, with some money, maybe $9, hey, maybe $20 to some extent. Who knows? I don't know what the new definitive version also offers. But yeah. But overall, Dragon Quest XI for the Switch is looking good. Again, another reason for Switch-only owner or who prefer to play their third-party game on the Switch have a reason to actually get a Switch. And like I said, it may not be a powerhouse versus the PS4 and the Xbox. Heck, I hate to say it, but it's going to happen. It's going to be able to compete against the next PlayStation or the next Xbox console. Time will tell, but come on. But the bottom line is, the advantage right now with the Switch is you can able to play console experience game on the go. I mean, I'm going to give a shout out to Xander Scullion, basically host of the Access Podcast and the Blast Podcast. He always supported the Switch because in his time, his schedule is very, very tight. He basically, let's just say he's really, really busy. So the only time he gets a break and play video game, most of the time. I mean, I'm not gonna basically give in detail what's his story, none of my business, but you get the idea that the guy is very busy. So how is he gonna get his video game fixed? Let's just say that the Switch makes more sense. I mean, to each of their own, but like I said, again, it is good that finally Dragon Quest XI is on the Switch, and maybe in the long run that Switch update or the feature will go to the PS4 and Steam, and with, of course, maybe a paid version, to make it just playing field there to be equal. Because again, Sony first got it along with Switch, and then now the Sony Steam, that's what I meant, excuse me, and then now the Switch. But we'll just have to wait and see.